Hey guys, Justin here. Welcome back to the channel. So we have big news from Lordstown Motors today that I am really excited to share with you because it means that retail investors like you and I will soon be able to invest directly into Lordstown Motors. But first, before we get into that news, please consider clicking the like button. It's something that's really easy to do and it helps out the channel a lot. Also, if you click the like button, all of your wildest hopes and dreams will magically come true. I promise. So what is the big news? Well, Lordstown Motors revealed today that they would be merging with Diamond Peak Holdings Corp to become a publicly traded company. And this will happen sometime in the fourth quarter of 2020. And this news sent Diamond Peak, which has the ticker symbol DPHC, up 21% today, and then also up an additional 4.36% in after-hours trading. So this is great news for investors who are wanting to invest in Lordstown Motors and their electric pickup truck, the Endurance. But what does this have to do with Workhorse stock? Well, if you are a subscriber of my channel and you have watched my previous videos on Workhorse stock, then you would know that Workhorse has a 10% stake in Lordstown Motors. Also, Workhorse gets a royalty fee on each of the first 200,000 Endurance pickup trucks that Lordstown Motors sells. So it is no surprise that Workhorse was also up today based on the news. In fact, Workhorse jumped more today than Diamond Peak did and was up 23.58% at the end of trading today. So what does this mean for Workhorse stock, and should you buy either of these stocks after today's news? Well, before we answer that, let's dive a little bit more into the details of this deal. The deal between Diamond Peak Holdings Corp and Lordstown Motors will raise roughly $675 million in capital for Lordstown Motors and values Lordstown at approximately $1.6 billion. What this means is that Workhorse's 10% stake in Lordstown Motors is now worth roughly $160 million, which is great news for Workhorse stock. But if we look at the chart for Workhorse stock, we can see that they added $333.6 million to their market cap based on the gains from today alone, which is interesting because the Lordstown Motors deal should have only added $160 million to Workhorse's market cap. But if we take a closer look at Workhorse's price movement from today, we can see that Workhorse stock jumped up 12% in early morning trading and then traded relatively flat until around 1:30 before jumping another 12%. So I think what we see here is that there was a group of investors who heard about the news first thing in the morning and bought some shares, and then around lunchtime, more investors became aware of the news and jumped in after lunch. So to answer the question of whether or not you should buy Workhorse stock now, I think with a stock like Workhorse, we could see continued momentum tomorrow just because of the hype surrounding the stock. But in reality, a 23% jump today looks very generous to me for Workhorse stock, especially considering that no new information was released. I mean, we already knew about Workhorse's 10% stake in Lordstown Motors, and we already knew about the royalty fees that will be paid to Workhorse from sales of the Endurance. Also, considering the fact that Workhorse added over $333 million to its market cap today, despite its stake in Lordstown Motors only being valued at $160 million, means that investors might have gotten a little bit ahead of themselves. But I am also hesitant to forecast a pullback in Workhorse stock because this is a stock that likes to run, or should I say gallop higher. See what I did there? So for me, I will be holding and waiting for a pullback to buy more shares. Now let's move on to Diamond Peak, or DPHC, which will be renamed RIDE after the merger with Lordstown Motors is complete. Now remember, we said earlier that this merger values Lordstown Motors at around $1.6 billion, which based on this means that there could be an opportunity that still exists in DPHC's stock. If we look at DPHC, we can see that they have a market cap of only $433 million. So to me, this is a clear sign that DPHC could have more room to run compared to Workhorse stock. One of the things pushing the valuation of Lordstown Motors up is the number of pre-orders that Lordstown Motors has for their Endurance pickup truck. Right now, Lordstown has 27,000 pre-orders for the Endurance, which represents more than $1.4 billion in potential revenue. So the Endurance pickup truck, which by the way is Lordstown Motors' only product right now, is already looking like it could be a big hit when it rolls off of the production line. Compare that to Workhorse's C-Series delivery trucks, which have far fewer pre-orders. Workhorse has not released an official number of total pre-orders yet, but we do know that UPS has ordered 1,000 C-Series trucks, and that Ryder has also begun taking deliveries of an undisclosed number of C-Series vehicles. Also, Workhorse signed a deal with eTrucks, a Cincinnati-based delivery company, to deliver 20 C-Series trucks. So I think it is safe to say that Workhorse does not have anywhere close to the 27,000 pre-orders that Lordstown Motors has. However, all of that being said, Workhorse is already selling its C-Series trucks to customers, while the Endurance will not be available until late 2021. Also, the Endurance pickup truck will have a lot more competition from companies like Tesla with their Cybertruck and Rivian with their pickup truck, also slated to come out in late 2021. So this is an important piece of information to keep in mind with Lordstown Motors, as they won't generate any consistent revenue until they can start selling their Endurance pickup truck to customers. Overall, I do think Lordstown Motors is a compelling EV stock to invest in right now, and based on the mismatch between DPHC's current market cap and Lordstown's implied value, I think the investment thesis becomes even more compelling. But I also still like Workhorse stock as well. I just want to caution investors to not get too carried away, as the price of Workhorse stock has run up quite a bit today. So try not to let your emotions dictate your investment decisions too much here. If you guys want to see all of my other videos on EV stocks, including my previous videos on Workhorse stock, I have created a special playlist just for you. So you can click that playlist now to keep watching. Also consider subscribing if you did enjoy this video. It means a lot and it helps out the channel greatly. And with that, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.